Why the background is not working in the web mode?
Oh, background is not working.
Yeah, I've joined by the browser settings. Seems like it's not key. Give me a minute. Let me go in the actual app.
No problem. Hi everyone, good morning, and we will start the session in a minute, in 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah, you are on mute, Girijesh. We can't hear you, Girijesh. We can't hear you, Girijesh.
Okay, I was on mute. I was talking to myself.
Oh, okay, no issue. So we can start. Hi everyone. So welcome to another session for today. And today Girijesh is going to speak on Microsoft Dataverse in details. What is the concept? Why Dataverse comment picture? And what is the logic behind this? How we can integrate different diversified applications to Dataverse? We will speak in details. So over to you, Girijesh. You can start.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Today we are going to talk about, as Sanjay introduced, so we are going to talk about the Dataverse. What exactly Dataverse is, how basically this is used in our day-to-day application development, reporting and everything. So we'll cover this. So agenda for today. Before talking to the Dataverse, we know what is data. That's a core important. And types of data and what kind of data that we are catering in our Dataverse repository, layers of Dataverse, and yes, one important thing for today, like earlier we used to add any command button, ribbon button by the ribbon workbench, but now there's a one feature which is still in a preview by which we can add the FX command button, as well as we can write PowerFX command also on the top of that. And the classic behavior like calling a JavaScript that we can do. So we'll see a small demo on this. And the last note will keep for the question answer. So first of all, let me introduce myself. All about me. I started my journey from 2015 as a .NET from a Dynamo 365 developer. Before that, I was working as a .NET developer. I'm a passionate Microsoft Business App developer, as well as a Microsoft certified professional and trainer also. Whenever I get time from my work, I used to travel and travel a lot. So that's my hobby. I'm a backpacker. And so let's move about what data is. I hope everyone can getting me right. Can see my screen. Can you confirm?
Yes.
We can from the audience?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can see.
Okay, fine. So what is data? The first thing before talking to Microsoft Dataverse. So according to Wikipedia, data is a fact and a statistic collected together for the reference and analysis. That's a standard definition by the Wikipedia. But in fact, data is what we know, and that's come from the variety of places. Like what we know that we gather from the variety of places. Like it maybe originate from one system and goes to the different system, right? In a SaaS version, what exactly the data originate from a variety of applications, like parent system, child system, and the all if all the ecosystem is based on the SaaS version, then we the all ecosystem basically it's on a SaaS version, and the specific to the Power Platform Dataverse. So in this specific figure, we are having a Power BI right on a Power Platform component. If we talk about the Power BI, basically used for analyze reporting purpose. The Power Automate basically used for catering data from one system to other system, like it's act like a bridge. The virtual agent basically it's a use for to build a bot to connect with the audience, and the Power App basically it's a user interface for the end users by which they interact with the Dataverse. So apart from that, so data can be created inside a Dataverse, the first thing. And the second thing, like it may come from the variety of sources. So external data and internal data. So if we need to cater external data inside of a Dataverse, then we need a connectors. Connectors basically by which we connect the third-party sources and we bring data in the Dataverse. So what next? Basically, what are the type of data that we use in our Dataverse or in day-to-day routine? So first of all, the master data. So master data typically represents the real entities, like whatever the entities that we are having in our system, like account, contact, company data. These are the configuration data. We also used to know this as a configuration data, right? I hope everyone have a quite good understanding of how the Dynamics 365 working and what are the entity structures. So suppose the secondary transaction data. So transaction data like the data that we create in a day-to-day routine, like a cases, right? Incidents, activities, any transactions, that's our transaction data. The third is infra data. Basically, that's a represent the related to the master data, like a social media post, right? Credit score segmentation. So this all about the data before the data was. So in data was we put all the data and we'll do the analyze, reporting, or you can say all the operation that's possible that we use on these data inside Dataverse. So what is Dataverse? Audience, any question till now on the data part?
No questions till now. You can
Okay.
proceed. I will keep collecting questions.
Okay, fine. So the next thing, what is Dataverse? According to Microsoft, the definition that they gave, Microsoft Dataverse is a data backbone that enables people to store their data in a scalable and secure environment dynamically. Right. It's enable us to look at the data at the service spam on demand to meet ever-changing business need. That's a standard definition by the Microsoft. But Dataverse is much more than this. So if we define the Dataverse in our words, so Dataverse is a easily structure. We can easily structure the data inside a Dataverse, right? It's support a variety of data, like we can store log, we can store files, images, textual data in multiple way. It's also support the logic, like we can write a business rule which work on a data level, processes. We can also extend the capability by the plugins. So these all are the kind of features of a Dataverse. Dataverse is designed to be a central data repository for business data, and you might even using it already, right? Apart from the standard thing, we also there nowadays AI, artificial intelligence builder available on the portals by which you can directly use. It's already predefined AI built in. You can use those AI building for your predictive analysis and the forecasting, what exactly that you need to do right in the business. What in the inbox? In a Dataverse, like every system interacting with the API, whatever the action that we are performing with the Dataverse, it's on the API, whether it's a Visual Studio, whether it's a Power App, whether it's a Jambrain system or any web application, whosoever is interacting with the Dataverse is via the API. And you know, while interacting with the API, the first thing, like we need a security. Security, like every whatever the person, whatever the system is interacting, that must be authenticated before getting the real-time data from the Dataverse. So that's authentication. And authorization, basically whether the specific user is authorized to retrieve the data from Dataverse. That's also a feature. We will see each layer like a security, logic, data, storage, and integration in a deeper way, in a much detailed way after this. So now moving to the security. all the user authentication at somewhat authorization also are maintained by the Azure AD. Like user is authenticated by the Azure. It's a central authentication mechanism in a Microsoft ecosystem. Like if we any user authenticate from Azure AD, then certain privilege is automatically inherited. Like you can enforce a multi-factor authentication to user. The second thing, you can enforce the conditional access. Like we are having a 4-5 regions and of a user group, and I can enforce the region A user can only access to a specific environment, or maybe vice versa. The conditional access, like we can define a condition like the system is available for region A people between 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's also we can define in a conditional access like. We can also define a grouping in Azure AD, like we are having 5 group and only group 2 can use on this specific environment. So these all the features like authentication and somewhat authorization basically come with Azure AD in by default with the Dataverse, but we need to configure everything. The second level of authorization basically that's a come in a Dataverse specific that role with authentication, table record ownership, field level security, auditing. Auditing basically that's a keep a track of whatever the activities that user has been performed inside the Dataverse. The second, the one concept is tenant, and inside tenant we are having environment. So the environment is a boundary for a user. Suppose we are having a 5 environment in a one tenant, right? And user may get privilege to access one or more than one. It's all depend basically, but yeah, the row authorization and level must be set as an environment level. Like I'm suppose myself Grijesh and I do have access on a 2 environment, but my authorization must be set on a both environment specifically because the environment is a boundary for this. I think we are good to go. So let's move forward. Any question, guys, till now?
Not yet. We have not received any questions. You can go ahead.
So the next layer is logic. There are certain features which come default with the Dataverse. Okay, before I hope everyone known the Dataverse, the erstwhile name of Dataverse was a common data system, CDS, right? So these are the features. Microsoft recently has renamed this the CDS to Dataverse. That's the one thing I forgot. I supposed to mention in a very early stage. So the business rule and business rule about if there's a developer which do not have some coding exposure, like for a certain specific thing, like setting a feed visibility, setting a default value, enabling, disabling, all those things. These are the certain features like that can be achieved by the JavaScript, but the few developer who are the citizen developer, who are the business user who do not know. So Dataverse give a privilege to write these are rules on a just designer level. You can just drag and drop the things and you can design your business rule. And the beauty of this, if there's a scope defined in a business rule, so if you define the scope on the form level, all forms entity level. So if you define this scope as entity level, then it work on entity level. Whether you're working on a Canvas app, whether you're working on a model driven app, it will work at entity level, whatever rule that you will set. The second thing known as a data process, like we are having a workflows, real-time workflows. Nowadays, we see Microsoft saying like, do not use the workflow out of box workflow. Instead of you use the Power Automate because the Power Automate is altogether it's outside of a Dynamics ecosystem. So what exactly happened when you're using the workflow that work inside the Dynamics 365 Dataverse engine? So that's a that kind of a time consuming, and that's a kind of extra overhead. So that's why they have designed the Power Automate, which work on out of that ecosystem, and it's all asynchronous. The alt, suppose if you want to extend the Dataverse capability by writing some custom codes. So we are having a plugins, but it's a sheets of code. We can extend the logic of a Dataverse by writing custom code, and the calculator and roller field. These are the default thing. Like if you want to summing or aggregating a basic operations calculation, so these fields are available. But very soon, I think the Power Effects, you may know all. So that will probably we will get another type of type that's known as a formula, and whatever operation that we are performing with the calculator and roller field, that we can do with the Power Effects formula. It's not available in every region. It's still in a preview phase. So sooner, once we'll get in available for every region, then definitely we'll have a demo on this to show how exactly this work on a model-driven app specifically. So next thing is integration. Like we can integrate Dataverse, right, to extend our data to meet a business needs. Right. So first of all, data modeling, like we can model. Yeah, Abhishek.
Hi, good morning, Girish. One
Yeah.
question I have. So, we came across in a situation that we try to convince our clients that in spite of using out of box workflow, go for the Power Automate. So it's quite challenging for us also to convince them that because that may incur extra cost to them also.
Yes, it's all depend. The Power Automate licenses come in a two flavor. One is seeded license, and the second is a per user plan. So if you're if you're taking a Microsoft 365 professional or enterprise level licenses, then you will get free of Power Automate licenses. So if that will suffice your need, right? I think the seeded licenses suffice your need. Then you can easily go with the Power Automate without incurring any extra cost. But it's all depend. What exactly you need, what are the frequency, and all those things.
Yeah, that too is that too have some limitation, I believe.
Limitation you mean to say, like, yes, if there is a concurrency level is too high, which you are using, then definitely it's a kind of limitation for you. In fact, you need to pay extra for this.
Yeah.
So, every aspect, every feature has some good thing and some limitations. So we have to choose what exactly suited to our need and our client, or to us and the client also.
Sure, Girish. Thank you.
So the modeling, reporting, validation, and common data model. So I think all we know, the common data model is a kind of a joint effort, a shared data model, which for a SAP, suppose we are having a multiple ERP system, CRM system, like SAP, we are having a Salesforce, we are having some other CRM systems. So there was joint venture by SAP, Microsoft, IBM. So they have created a common data model. Suppose we are having account entity in our data versus the same account entity in their other ERP system. So they have a standard, just create a standard schema which is known as a common data model, so that the system can interact with each other, can transfer data to each other. The reporting purpose, the reporting is quite nowadays it's a matter a lot. The way you report to your middle management, your senior management, that's a matter a lot. So that's why the Power BI come with a lot of reporting capability. You can analyze data, you can create a multiple dashboard and publish as well as publish in the data Microsoft Dynamics 365 dashboards. And the validation, like as we have already talked on the AI models, like we are having a pre-built AI models that basically used for the forecasting, what exactly your states. You just feed the data, you train the model, and that will forecast you for the business, for the future. Okay. So the next thing is storage. It's another very important thing. We can store variety of data in a dataverse, right? We can store textual images, entities like the classic we use in a SQL. We can use images, we can use log files, right? All these things. So Dataverse uses Azure infrastructure, a cloud-based storage for storing all those things. So it's a black box for us, but in background it's using a cloud storage for using all these things. The data could be relational data and the files, log file, data log, all these things. The last bit of all the 5 layers integration. So you can embed the Canvas app. You can create basically embed the Power BI reports in a Dataverse dashboard. The second integration we can do with the virtual entities, right? Recently, I was working on an application which was having a implementation in Dynamics 365 CE as well as FNO. So the initial integration we already did by the dual write, but there was some issue with the dual write. Dual write is not much evolved as of now, and we are facing a lot of issue. So there was I think 2 integrations basically we did by using the virtual entities, and the Microsoft provide the finance and operation virtual entity solution. You just need to install in your environment, and you can create a virtual entity integration between 2 environments. So that's another good feature in the integration by using a virtual entities. We can also call outbound API inside a plugin by which we can integrate or we can cater the data from one system to another system. The process integration, that's basically we can do the customer insights, Power Automate, and inbound API requests. So Dataverse, we can use Dataverse APIs to insert the data inside a Power Automate from a third system. So some simple facts and figure why we use a Dataverse: easy to manage, easy to secure. Easy to secure, what exactly mean? Like we are having some cloud security with the Microsoft Azure, and that's a by default inherit with the Dataverse. Yeah, so please come.
Yeah, hi Girish. Hi Grijesh.
Yeah.
So regarding this virtual entity, so this virtual entity needs to be used like when we are integrating with some third party. And what exactly is the benefit of using it? Could you explore that?
Yes. So the first question was, what can you come with the first question again?
Like, is it virtual entity we are going to use when we are integrating with some other source, or when exactly it needs to be used, and what are the benefits of making use of virtual entity?
Okay. So it's a depend upon your need, whether like a virtual entity integration. It's all depend upon your need, whether you want to integrate 2 systems by the virtual entity. What exactly the benefit is? The data reside in your source system, right? And you are just creating a kind of a OData query, OData request in your Dynamics. So it will fetch your data. It will not take data in the Dynamics system. It will just go and retrieve the data from your source system and display to the end user. Initially, it was only the read-only data, like whatever the data we are showing by the virtual entity, it was a read-only. But I think the last month, a few days before I just explored, you can just update the data of the virtual entity interface also. So the benefit is you are not going to bring the data inside your Dynamics 365 first. It will reside on your source system. That's the one benefit. The second thing, it will help you to reduce your storage, your data storage. So if you're having a very bulky data in the outside system, you don't need to bring in your system. So that will also help you. What was the third question?
So does it need a connector or something, or
Yes,
like?
definitely. We need a connector by which we need a connector or proper authorization by which that will make OData query to your source system and will retrieve the data to show you inside Dataverse.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thanks, Grijesh.
You know, in our integration, finance and customer engagement, there were more than, I think it was a more than 200 or no, sorry, 3 GB data specifically, which we are retrieving by the virtual entity, and it was on demand, all was. So I was talking to easy to secure, like the security compliance come with Azure. So whatever we are using a cloud product and a Microsoft cloud. So all come under the one umbrella and security provided by the parent. And these are the come and productivity deals. Okay. So if you build below apps client on the top of Dataverse, so you need a connector, yes or no? You can just take a snapshot of this and you will get it to know. I think Sanjay, how much time we are having? We are having 10 minutes at least.
Yes, we have another 10 minutes.
Okay. So I'm just straight jumping to the demo. I'm just removing my setting for a while. So this is my tenant, and I'm having a 3 environment. If I'm just opening this. Yes, I'm going to create new model driven app. So idea is like I will create a small entity form, and on the top of that I'll add a command button. So I'm just creating app. Logistic solutions. Next. DB1. I'll configure later. Seems like internet is a bit slow at my end. Yes, Abhishek, please.
Sorry, one more question, Girish.
Yes.
So this is regarding Power Automate. So
Yeah.
is there any procedure of activating the Power Automate in the destination or production environment or UAT environment? Because suppose we have written so many Power Automates, more than 100 or 150 Power Automates,
Yeah.
and we came across a scenario that where we need to go manually and we are activating those Power Automates manually. how can we do it? Is there any way of activating all the Power Automate?
So you mean to activity when you just turn on and turn off? What exactly mean?
Yeah, in some scenarios, just turning on and off was only required, but in few of the scenarios where we need to change the users also. I believe users also.
Connection, I think, connection references.
Yeah, connections. Sorry.
You know what exactly? Now, the earlier Power Automate, if I talk about the last year or before that, so we need to set the connector with which environment you want your Power Automate should point. But nowadays, we just use the old connection deprecated and we just use the current environment. So whatever the connection that you will use by current environment, that will refer to the current environment. Suppose you are having 4 tenant and the Power Automate will refer on the same way. I'll just show you like okay, if let me see if I'm having any Power Automate here. I think I go to the solution.
I believe in our case we were using current environment only, and even after that also we are supposed to turn on the Power Automate in the UAT and production environments. So is there any way of activating it at one go or in one shot?
To be honest, I think I need to check. Nothing coming on the top of my head now. We can do it on one go. I need to check.
Okay, sure.
Definitely, I'll get your question and I'll revert you.
Sure.
Right. Save and close. So edit and preview the first thing. And on the Power Automate, I'll just edit in a bar. So I'm just going to the main form, edit. And I'm just adding a new command on this. Earlier we used ribbon workbench to add any ribbon button on a form level. But now we can use the Power Effects button to add a new command on a form level. If I go to new command, and what get you can write a Power Effects formula in this. You can call a JavaScript as we used to call in a classic ribbon workbench button. All these options that you want, you can do it. You can just click on open formula bar and you can write a formula here. Right. Use icon. Okay, fine. LinkedIn. Perfect. Display this button. I'll just open a new. Okay. Why this is not appearing? Can you see the gray test? This is the button which I have applied here. So this is the new way to add a new command button.
Okay.
So I think Sanjay, that's all I wanted plan for today. I planned for
Okay. Yeah, okay. So we got to know that the concept of Dataverse in details. And would you mind sharing this slide to everyone so that they can, the presentation that you have given, if you share the slide somewhere in the slide share or somewhere, then people can get downloaded that. Is that
Okay,
fine
I'll
for
do it.
you? Yeah, no problem. And guys, I hope you understand the basics, how security works, how logic works, and how integration works in Dataverse. Although this session was not practical oriented, but we are making further sessions more practical oriented. We are having a series of session in October every Saturday. So it will be a blast in October and November and December. These 3 months are going to be, free learnings. So join in the time, follow us in Mumbai Power Platform. Let me share my screen so that you know what is that group all about. And thank you, Girijas, for your time. And I hope we will meet again in next sessions. Right. So this is our Microsoft Power Platform group. And if you have not joined by any chance, you can join here, and you can see all our events here. Okay, we manage our events free for our community, Dynamics 365 and Power Platform community. And also we are in October, Rakesh is giving, so many difficult scenarios, right? If you go here, I will update this event session quickly. So how integration works from Microsoft Dynamics AX to Dynamics CRM, like ERP to CRM, and so many advanced topics Rakesh is going to discuss on this October month, every Saturday 1:30 to 2:30. So keep your time blocked, and it's free, so don't worry about that giving something some cost or like that. So you can learn a lot of things. And in November we are having a great boot camp session, so that will be 2-day 16 hours, 8 hours a day session, and a lot of MVPs and MCTs are joined as a speaker, and we will learn diversified topics. And it's just in one word, it's going to be a blast, and we are getting a lot of knowledge in this October and November. So I will keep you posted, and you join, and we will learn together, right? So we'll go together, learn together, and it's free. So thank you, everyone. I hope we will stop the session today because there was no other agenda for today. Thank you each and everyone for your support and joining this and making all the sessions successful as usual. Thank you, Girish. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks
See you next
everyone.
time.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you, Girijesh.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, everyone.